what the body is weight is supposed to be, depending on the age and sex. So one loses weight up to 15%, and when one has gotten to that 15% gauge of loss of weight, then we need to diagnose anorexia nervosa and try to intervene so that we may contain the condition.
Okay.
Yes.
So in short, the patient or the person who is under anorexia nervosa simply fears eating, so that they cannot be fat, or they cannot add weight.
The fear is on gaining weight. The fear is on gaining weight. So they decide, for me not to gain weight, I don't eat. Or I fear food, because if I eat, I'll gain weight. I'll gain weight. So they don't eat. They refuse to eat because they fear gaining weight. They may be appearing thin by look of other people, by other people looking at them. But to them, they wouldn't want to gain weight in any way whatsoever. So they fear food. They refuse to eat, and because they fear gaining weight.
Okay.
Yes.
And even if they have moderate weight, or they are still thin, in their perspective way, wanafikiria bado ni wanono, and they want to lose weight.
They are convinced beyond doubt to themselves that they have adequate weight. To themselves, they have adequate weight. But in essence, they have lost more than 15% of what their body weight should be. Okay? So their perception is that they are having weight, and they wouldn't want to gain any more weight. Yes. So they refuse to eat, or they fear food, and therefore they sustain that weight loss for a long time. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Now, do we have types of anorexia nervosa?
Yes, we may. Majorly, as we said, it is referred to as starvation disorder, or loss of appetite. We may say loss of appetite, but these people is that even when they are feeling hungry, still they say they don't want to eat. Yes. So the two types, we have about two types of anorexia. One is restricting anorexia. Restricting anorexia is where the patient, because this is a patient, this patient apparently refuses to eat. They refuse to eat, and even when they are feeling hungry, they don't eat.
They don't eat.
Yes, this is the restricting type of anorexia nervosa. The other type is referred to as bulimia nervosa, or binge eating. In binge eating, this is a person who eats food. They may eat even enough, or even more than enough, but they again work on the food they have eaten, because they know that if the food is absorbed, they will gain weight. And their main concern or main fear is gaining weight. So what they do is that the food they have eaten, they induce vomiting. They may induce vomiting. They may use drugs like laxatives, so that they pass the food from their stomachs before absorption takes place. So they are concerned that the food they ate may cause their weight increase, and therefore they do drugs, or they work on ways on how the food should come out before it is absorbed. Therefore, they may induce vomiting, or they may use laxatives, or drugs that enhance peristalsis and elimination of the food even before time for absorption. So those are the two types, the restricting type and also the bulimia nervosa.
Na mtazamaji, tunaendelea kuzungumzia kuhusu ugonjwa. Daktari ametuelezea kuhusu aina mbili za ugonjwa, na ya kwanza inaitwa restricting type, ambapo hii mgonjwa anajinyima chakula hali kabisa, hata kama anasikia njaa, hata kama anahisi njaa, atakuwa hali kwa sababu anaogopa kukula, na anajua kwamba akishakula hiyo chakula itafanya nini? Itafanya kazi kwa mwili, na ataongezeka kilo za mwili. Hiyo ndio inaitwa restricting type. Anajinyima chakula, anafunga, ni kama kufunga, tunaita fasting. Lakini sio kwamba ana fast ama anafunga kuomba, lakini anafunga kwa sababu anaogopa kukula chakula na kuongeza kilo za mwili. Aina nyingine ya pili ameongelea kuhusu bulimia nervosa, ambapo mgonjwa, katika hii aina ya hiyo ugonjwa, mgonjwa anakula chakula kidogo kidogo, lakini baada ya kula, hata kabla chakula hakijasagika katika mwili, katika tumbo, anaenda anajitapisha, anaweza akaingiza vidole kwa mdomo, alafu anajitapisha. Hizo ndo aina mbili za huu ugonjwa wa anorexia nervosa. Kwa hivyo daktari, unaweza kutueleza nini haswa inasababisha huu ugonjwa wa anorexia nervosa?
Viewers, as we said that this is both a mental and a nutritional disorder. The exact cause why this person would want not to gain weight is usually unknown. The reason why is unknown because these are mostly it's driven by psychological factors, where one just thinks that they should not gain weight, they fear gaining weight. So the cause is usually unknown. The cause is unknown. However, some of the risk factors or some of the causes that may be associated with this condition or anorexia nervosa include such as personality, a person's personality, the traits, the way a person thinks, the way they interpret life, the way they would want to be. Their personality is a factor. We have these people who are who have a personality in which they just want to be slim. They want to remain slim. Their emotions, their way of thinking is affected in a way that they think in terms of not gaining weight. Okay, so that is one of the causes of anorexia nervosa. Another cause could be biological factors. Biological factors could be maybe where one has inherited such like traits of fearing to gain weight, and therefore if this is something that is maybe characteristically observed within a particular family, you find that people are just thin, but then the desire to gain weight is not there in that family. Okay, so those could be a biological factor. Other factors could be because of pressure, maybe peer pressure or pressure from their environment, where you see like somebody maybe is a model and people continue commending their figure. They comment that your figure is stunning. They appreciate you for who you are, and therefore the pressure that you get from your supporters or those people who like the way you look like,
the fans,
your fans, continue to entice you not to gain any weight your weight in any way, and therefore you want to maintain that figure because they continuously comment you for the figure that you are portraying. Another thing could be physical factors such as maybe hormones, but these are lame. They are lame excuses, flimsy. You wouldn't take hormonal factors as those that can lead to one going to that extent or the extreme of not wanting to gain weight. However, it could be a contributory factor where certain hormones surges in somebody's body and they lose their appetite and they wouldn't want to eat. That is just a perpetrating factor, not a really cause for anorexia nervosa. So as we said, hereditary, you could be having inherited such like traits or thinking manner of not wanting to gain weight from your family, the traits that are running within the family. And therefore, majorly, I would want to say that the cause for anorexia nervosa should be psychological, where one, the way the thinking pattern, the personality of that person plays the key role, and the other thing is that the real cause for anorexia nervosa is unknown.
So these are the causes of this. Maybe some
causes, but they're not the actual causes. The actual cause is actually the way a person thinks, their personality, and as we said, this could be psychological factors, the way one thinks and the way one perceives life, and the way they perceive people who have weight, and the way they perceive them looking when they have less weight than is required.
Okay.
Yeah.
Na mtazamaji, tunaongelea kuhusu causes ama sababu, vile vitu ambavyo zinasababisha huu ugonjwa wa anorexia nervosa, na mojawapo wa hiyo ni tumesema ni personality. Personality ni vile mtu anavyojiona kwa akili yake, anavyojenga ile taswira ama picha kwa akili yake. Kwa hivyo watu wengine wanaona mimi labda nimekuwa mnono sana. Sasa hiyo inaweza sababisha pia mtu aanze kujinyima chakula, aanze kuruka chakula, aanze kujitapisha kwa sababu anaogopa asije akaongezea mwili zaidi. Sababu nyingine pia tumesema ni biological, it is biological caused, ya kwamba labda kwa familia hivi watu ni wanono au watu ni wembamba hivi, alafu sasa yeye anaona kwamba mimi nimekuwa mnono. Sasa hiyo inasababisha mtu aingie katika hiyo hali ya anorexia nervosa. Nyingine tumesema kwamba ni peer pressure, yani ule msukumo kutoka kwa wenzako, haswa wale watu ambao ni tuseme kama waimbaji, watu ambao wanaonekana sana. Kwa hivi wale mashabiki zao wanaweza wakawasukuma sana, wakawaambia kwamba wewe ungekuwa sasa uko na mwili mnono, ungepunguza kilo kidogo ungekuwa vizuri. Kwa hivyo hizo zote ndio sababu ambazo zinasababisha hii hali ambayo inaitwa anorexia nervosa. Pengine daktari tuambie, are these also the risk factors or?
Well, more or less they are the risk factors, because when you find those people that are commonly affected by this condition, one, viewers, is that this condition is more common amongst women as compared to men. Statistically, more women are affected by this condition as compared to men. However, some men have also, the numbers in amongst men are also beginning to rise up, and therefore, by one being a female, she's at risk more compared to a man. So other risk factors could be, as I said, people who want to maintain a certain figure. For example, those who do modeling, they would want to maintain a certain figure, and therefore they fear eating so that this figure does not disappear when they gain weight. Others could be dancers, people who do dancing, and maybe they prefer when they are more maybe flexible, if I may use the word flexibility, but so they want to remain as thin as they can be, so that they can continue with dancing. Others are sportsmen. Some people they wouldn't want to gain weight, especially the athletes wouldn't want to gain weight because they fear that this weight may interfere with their performance in sporting, and therefore they can avoid eating. Some people who participate in some other sports such as wrestling, skating, these are people who are at risk of this anorexia nervosa, because they would want to associate weight with not being able to perform when their weight has increased, and therefore they work it out that even they don't gain weight in any way. Yes. So those could be the risk factors. The ones daily activities of engagement, when they engage in activities such as dancing, when they engage in activities such as athletics, when they engage in modeling, these are the people who are at risk of suffering this condition, because they don't want to gain weight lest it interfere with what they do day to day.
You have made me to remember there was a case about 2 years ago in a certain country. I can't mention, but it is Western country, Western country.
Yes.
So the actor wanted to shed off. She is a female actress.
Okay.
She wanted to shed off some kilograms.
Exactly.
So she used to eat three spoons of rice every day. So you can imagine how that person will look like.
That person will look like eating 3 spoonfuls of rice in a day. So you can see these are a person who is an actress, and this is a risk group. It's a risk group because they are concerned about their weight. They want to remain acting and acting with the figure that they have, and therefore they don't go for food. They starve themselves because of fearing to gain weight. Yes.
Okay. Na mtazamaji, tulikuwa tunaongelea kuhusu wale ile kundi la watu ambalo liko katika hatari ya kuwa katika hii hali anorexia nervosa, na tumesema kwamba kundi mojawapo ya hilo ni hawa watu ambao wanapenda kuigiza, kufanya filamu za kuigiza ama michezo ya kuigiza.
Yes.
Kuna hawa wakimbiaji, kuna pia nafikiri pia kuna hawa wasakataji ngoma, mziki,
Yes.
ama tunaita dancers.
Yes.
Hilo ndo kundi ambalo liko katika hatari kubwa sana, manake wao kulingana vile wanaonekana na watu wengi na kulingana na ule msukumo wa mashabiki, basi wako katika hatari kubwa sana ya kupata hiyo hali ambayo inaitwa anorexia nervosa. Kwa hivi pengine labda daktari, twende moja kwa moja hadi kwa dalili ambazo zinaonyesha kwamba huyu mtu ako na hii hali anorexia nervosa.
The signs and symptoms that one is having anorexia nervosa, again, they are observable. Most of them are observable, and another eye is the one that can identify that this person could be having this problem of anorexia nervosa. And what will be we began by saying is that one major characteristic of this person having this condition is that they lose weight. So weight loss is the main characteristic or sign that a person we can look at and say that this for a person of this particular age, we would want them to have a particular range of weight. So if you are having less weight by 15%, less than what is required of your age and maybe height and sex, then you are a likely suspicious person of having this condition of anorexia nervosa. Then there's the limited eating that is observable again. This person limits their eating, just like the example you have given us, where one is eating 3 spoonfuls of rice. Definitely that is not adequate for the body, and this body cannot gain any weight in whichever way. So when this person even is eating this limited food, we should ask ourselves, what are they trying to do? Then we could suspect that maybe they are working on their weight and therefore suspect anorexia nervosa. Another thing will be unusual interest in food. This person is unusually interested in food. When it comes to a time when you would expect a person to be seeking for a meal, this person is not interested.
Or gives excuses.
They give an excuse for what not wanting to. They may say they are not hungry. They may say whatever way they will say, but they will give any excuse so that they avoid eating. The fear to gain weight may be vocalized. The fear to gain weight, they could come out and say openly that I fear gaining weight. Then this is a person that we need to suspect that maybe we are looking at them, they are underweight, and again they are saying they don't want to gain weight. Then something is definitely not right. We have people who have strange eating habits. Strange eating habits in that perhaps a time when they should be eating, maybe as a family, maybe with friends, they hide themselves so that people cannot see the amount of food they are eating, or maybe see that they have apparently starved themselves. So they have strange eating habits where you would expect that they eat in the open, they want to eat while hidden, so that maybe they consume so little. Okay, so this such like behavior is suspicious of anorexia nervosa. Then this person may say that they are feeling fat. You see, you look at a person, they are lean, they are thin, and yet they are saying that they are feeling like they have gained weight, or they are feeling that they are fat. You see, now you would wonder, is this a statement from a person who's sane or insane? Okay, if they are thin already and they are saying that they are feeling fat. Okay, sometimes these people they have undue influence on their body shape. Okay, they want to comment something that about their shape that is maybe not contrary to what is actually reflecting. Okay, they are just as I've already said, they may say that they are feeling fat, but then they are lean. Sometimes they put on clothes that is loose, okay, just to cover their thinness or their lean figure. They put on loose clothing. They wouldn't put on something that is so fitting because it will expose their weight loss. And therefore you may see this person putting on loose clothing. Another thing is use of drugs or inducing vomiting, because if you find a person after they have eaten, they want to induce vomiting, then this is a person that would want to ask why are they inducing vomiting. As we said, these are people who, before digestion takes place, they want this food out of their body. You see, that's because they know if it stays there, they will gain weight, and therefore they work, or they do what they use laxatives, as we said, and they may induce emesis or vomiting, and therefore this is a person that you could suspect to be having this disorder. Another thing is observable is that if they are female, there are irregularities with their menstrual periods. Yes, because now the body is not well nourished, and for the body to function normally, it requires nutrition, and therefore if you are not having enough nutrition, then the functioning part of the menstrual cycle will be interrupted, and therefore this person will have issues. Either they will have amenorrhea, okay, they will totally miss the periods, or they may have periods that are staggered or more spaced than they should be. Irregular periods where when it could have been coming every month, it doesn't come that way, and therefore this person may be having this issue to do with anorexia. Those could be some of the signs and symptoms, but as the condition progresses, then you will have to see the impact of the weight loss onto the body. This person, perhaps when we come back, we could talk about some of the effects that could be affecting they will be resulting due to the lack of eating or the starvation. Yes.
And then there is something about there is maybe a sign in that case where we have bulimia nervosa, where the patient induces vomiting.
Yes.
Do we have the discoloration of teeth maybe because of the...
Yes, definitely we shall have discoloration of the teeth.
Yeah.
As I said, the impact of the starvation affects the body as a whole. So the effect could be affecting the teeth, the effect could be affecting the heart, the effect will be affecting the cardiovascular system, the person becomes anemic. And so I said, apart from just the single glance and suspicion of anorexia, we need to maybe look at the impact, the effects, and they are detailed because they are affecting now the body as a whole.
Okay.
Yes.
Na mtazamaji, tunaongelea kuhusu dalili za ugonjwa wa anorexia nervosa. Utaweza kujuaje kwamba huyu mtu ama huyu mgonjwa ako na hii shida ama hii hali? Na tumesema kwamba dalili ya kwanza ambayo ndio dalili inayoonekana kwa urahisi sana ni kupunguza uzito wa mwili, ama tunaita weight loss, kwa sababu hapati chakula cha kutosha. Chakula ambacho anachokipata ama virutubisho, nutrients ambazo anazipata katika mwili wake ni kidogo sana. Kwa hivyo unakuta kwamba mtu anapunguza uzito na hana ugonjwa wote ambao tunaweza sema kwamba umemfanya akapunguza uzito. Hiyo ndio sababu, hiyo ndio dalili ya kwanza. Na tumesema pia ya kwamba utaona kwamba mgonjwa amepunguza ule ulaji wake ama ile hali yake ya kula. Anakula chakula kidogo sana, kama vile nilivyosema, unakuta mtu anakula vijiko vitatu peke yake vya mchele. Na unajua sasa vijiko vitatu ni kitu gani? Kama kuna mtu anakula sahani mbili na hashibi. Sasa hiyo ndo dalili ya kwanza, unajua kwamba huyu mtu ako na hii hali anorexia nervosa. Na pia dalili nyingine, kuna tabia zingine ambazo zinajitokeza, tabia za kiajabu ajabu. Unapata kwamba vile watu wanakulanga kama familia pamoja, mtu anaenda anachukua, anamega chakula, anaenda anajificha mahali kusudi asionekane kwamba amekula chakula kidogo. Maana ataanza kuuliziwa, kwa nini fulani unajiwekea chakula kidogo hivi? So anaenda anajificha, alafu anakuja. Sasa akija watu hatajua kwamba huyu mtu amekula chakula kidogo. Kwa hizo ndio tabia zinajitokeza, ambapo sasa hiyo ndio itakuwa ishara kamili ya kwamba huyu mtu ako na hii hali anorexia nervosa. Na tukaangalia pia tukaona kwamba nyingine ishara nyingine ni kwamba mtu atakuwa anavaa nguo nyepesi ama ambazo hazibani ili kuficha lile umbo lake. Maana akivaa zile nguo ambazo zimembana, basi itaonyesha kwamba huyu mtu huyu basi amepunguza uzito sana. Na hivyo mpaka tumuulize, kwani una shida gani? Uko na mawazo ama uko na ugonjwa wote, unauma wapi. Kwa hivyo hiyo pia ni ishara nyingine ya kuonyesha kwamba mtu ako na hiyo hali ya anorexia nervosa. Na tukasema kwamba pia hii ishara nyingine ni hasa kwa wanawake ambao ama wasichana ambao kuanzia huo umri wa kubale na kuelekea, unakuta ya kwamba ile hedhi yao ya mwezi haikuji, inaweza kuwa haikuji kabisa kwa sababu hakuna virutubisho ama nutrients katika mwili. Na unajua kwamba kwa hizo hedhi kukuja lazima mwili huu kuna na virutubisho vya kutosha ama nutrients za kutosha. Kwa hivyo unapata kwamba mwanamke hataweza kupata hedhi kama kawaida yake, na pia unakuta kwamba anaweza kupata hedhi lakini hazikuji vile zinatakikana zikuje.
That's it.
Na hiyo yote ni dalili za kuonyesha kwamba huyu mtu ama huyu ni mgonjwa wa anorexia nervosa. Pengine una kitu nyingine zaidi ya kuongezea daktari?
Exactly. Now, viewers, as we said that now the body has been affected by the lack of nutrients, as Devi has said, and now what happens is that this person will not be able to tolerate certain conditions. For example, when they are walking into a place where there is cold temperatures, you find that they are unable to tolerate these cold temperatures, because again the nutrients are necessary for the body to muscles to generate heat, even the liver to generate heat, to sustain the to compensate for the low temperatures outside. So this person will have intolerance of low temperatures. Yes. Again, now the hair and the nails become brittle. When you look at the texture of the hair, it loses its texture, and therefore, and even the nails can easily break because they are not healthy. Again, another thing, there's a dry or yellowish skin. This is because of malnutrition. This person could be anemic. Anemia, where they are suffering now from deficiency in red blood cells, and therefore they are becoming anemic. And of course, anemia again has its own accompanying symptoms. Yeah. Okay, this person may be having tooth decay, as Devi alluded to earlier, that their teeth may be turned in color, and therefore they are decayed, because actually bone formation and teeth formation require some calories. They require some nutrients, especially calcium and phosphorus, and this person who is not having enough to eat may lack such like nutrients which are necessary for formation of teeth and bones. Therefore, the joints may be swollen. They may be difficulty in using such like bones, and therefore the effect is to that extent. We said again the skin is unhealthy, and the unhealthy skin tends to grow some very light hair that is growing all over. Yeah, because of the unhealthy skin. So these people, as we said, have the impact of lack of nutrients that is reflecting now in every system of their body. We talked of anemia in the blood and the cardiovascular system. Again, when we shall be talking about the diagnosis, you'll find that when a physical examination is done, these people have issues with their blood, the cardiac rhythms. Their cardiac rhythms have arrhythmias. They are abnormal cardiac rhythms that are not because of the impact of lack of some nutrients that are necessary even for the blood, for the heart to function normally, and therefore the impact is actually affecting the whole body. Okay. So I think those are some of the effects of anorexia nervosa now on the body as a whole. Yes.
Okay, asante sana daktari. Sasa kwa watazamaji wetu tutachukua muda mfupi tu wa mapumziko, tutarudi tena ili tuangalie mengi zaidi kuhusiana na huu ugonjwa wa anorexia nervosa. Na vile nilivyokuambia hapo awali ni kwamba unaweza kama unataka kutuliza swali lolote, unaweza kutufikia kupitia kwa ujumbe mfupi, yani SMS, kupitia kwa hizo namba ambazo ziko hapo kwa runinga yako. Ama unaweza ukatutumia ujumbe kupitia kwa WhatsApp, ama pia unaweza ukatutumia ujumbe kupitia kwa Facebook page yetu ya Heaven Bound TV. Kwa hivyo usibanduke, kita kambi na sisi hadi tamati.
When the saints go marching in, oh, when the saints go marching in, oh Lord, I want to be among the number. Oh, when the saints go marching in.
Rock of Ages, cleft for me.
Hello and welcome. My name is DJ Quench and this is Gospel Delight that comes to you every Sunday morning from 6 a.m. to 1 p.m. here on Heaven Bound TV. Keep tuning in every Sunday morning for worship and praise music and of course Sunday school. Every Sunday we have a guest artist and our live service that comes to you live from Pefa Church, Kimbo Githurai. And of course, we top it up with this last segment to have a hype session and also wind up with the topic of the day.
Follow us on our social media platforms at Heaven Bound TV and using the hashtag Gospel Delight. Like they always say, walk in light, walk right.
It is such time of the day that God has given unto us, trusting and hoping that God has kept you. Hello everyone, welcome to Heaven Bound TV. This is Art Club Show.
And it's believed that the graveyards are the richest places on this earth where the greatest treasures lie, spoken words that are never spoken, songs that are never sung, and many, many other more talents.
Join me, Jeremiah Jalale,
And Caroline Mutheu
every Friday from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. as we share and discuss more about the talents and gifts that are God-given.
See you then.
Every day, a life is lost as a result of one disease or another. But we count on the number of lives which are saved. That is why here in Health Booth, we will be educating each other on how to live a healthy lifestyle. Join me, David Ngure, every Wednesday from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. as we will learn more about our health.
God's favor is unmerited. We will be telling you stories about women of favor or daughters of favor who through their stories have touched many lives. I'll be your host Rebecca Wangoi and this is Daughters of Favor. You are highly favored.
Each new day is a new opportunity to improve yourself. Take it and make the most of it. Join me, Charles Chege, every day from 5:30 a.m. to 6 a.m. on HB Fitness Show as we take the opportunity in making our bodies fit. HB Fitness, healthy mind in a healthy body.
Tangu mwishoni mwa mwaka jana, homa ya virusi vya corona yaani COVID-19 imeibuka kuwa tisho kubwa la kiafya. Maambukizi ya homa hii yameenea ulimwenguni kote, wala hakuna aliye salama. Serikali kupitia idara ya afya imeweka mikakati miongoni mwao ikiwa uchunguzi wa homa ya corona miongoni mwa wasafiri katika mipaka yake yote kote nchini.
I'm very happy about the screenings that are going on in Tanzania and Kenya. I think it's very proactive that you're thinking about stopping it at the border so that it does not spread.
Inatisha kufikiri kukohoa tu kidogo kwa mazingira haya unaweza sababisha mlipuko wa homa hii usio na kifani. Ili kuzuia haya, serikali imeweka mikakati tosha kuhakikisha usalama wa Kenya wote.
The facility has all the equipments you need from handling a basic patient up to ICU setting.
Hata hivyo, wewe pia unalo jukumu katika kusaidia kuzuia kuenea kwa maambukizi.
Citizen responsibility is the key to the success of this initiative and these measures. Let's all do what we have to do individually. And this is how we are going to defeat this disease.
It's just our general hygiene, okay? And that now means at workplaces, we should ensure that our work surfaces are clean.
Always ensure that nimefanya proper sanitation ya mikono. Every time na board matatu, lazima ni sanitize mikono.
Sisi kama taifa tumepata kukumbana na changamoto nyingi na kali maishani, na kila wakati tumeibuka washindi. Hii homa ya COVID-19 hata kama inatisha, si tofauti nazo. Komesha corona. Zingatia maagizo kutoka Wizara ya Afya. Nawa mikono jinsi inavyostahili.
Oh, when the saints go marching in. Oh, when the saints go marching in. Oh, Lord, I want to be among the number. Oh, when the saints go marching in.
Viewers, remember our topic for today. We are discussing about anorexia nervosa together with my colleague Levi Mkolwe. And we have discussed various things concerning that disease. We have checked on the risk factors and the symptoms. Now we want to look at the complications. How does it complicate the body, this anorexia nervosa?
Okay. Due to the starvation, due to the body lacking the necessary nutrients, because of the starvation, the results may include damage to the organs, especially the main organs that function in the body, the organs that are usually very active in the body. And this includes the heart. The heart is very active. It requires energy. It requires glucose and nutrients for it to perform the activities that it does perform. For it to pump, it requires energy. Now that there's the denial of the energy due to starvation, the heart is affected. And when it is affected, the end result could be the arrhythmias that I talked about. It doesn't form the normal rhythms. It doesn't do its work rhythmically as it's supposed to do. So the heart is one of the organs that will be affected by anorexia. Another thing could be the kidneys, because this person may have realized that a greater percentage of one's weight is made up of water. Exactly. It's contributed by water, up to 60% or 55 to 60%, depending on one's sex, is water. So if this person realizes that it is water that is contributing to their weight, and they are interested in not having weight, then they deny the body water that is necessary for the cells to perform their functioning again. So the kidneys are affected. The kidneys are denied water, and therefore they are affected. Another main organ that could be affected is the brain. The brain is a very active organ in the body, and it actually controls every other functioning of the body. And the brain, unfortunately, entirely relies on glucose, and pure glucose for that matter. That is why when one is starving, they feel headaches, because they are lacking the glucose that is necessary for the brain to perform its functioning. And therefore the brain is one of the organs that will be affected. And therefore the thinking processes of this person will begin to be affected. And therefore this is detrimental because of the effect on the brain. Another thing, cardiovascular, and on the cardiovascular system, there will be a drop in the blood pressure because, of course, the blood pressure is determined by the amount of volume of the circulating fluids in the circulation, and therefore the blood pressure will definitely drop because, as we said, this person may deny themselves water, and therefore they will be lacking. Their blood pressure will be low, and together with that, the pulse will go low, and also their breathing will be affected in a way. It will be slowed. Another thing, we talked of hair, and we say that hair will be lost. It will lose its texture, and also the abnormal hairs will be growing all over as the skin is affected in that manner. Another thing could be, now socially this person will become withdrawn. They'll become withdrawn, and the feeling of worthlessness, because again, as the whole body is being affected, the brain is being affected, now the person feels tends to withdraw from the rest of the people, and they feel that they are worthless. They may become depressed even. They may become depressed, and therefore they are affected in that manner psychologically. Another thing, we talked of the need for calcium and phosphorus for bone formation, and therefore these bones that are lacking calcium and phosphorus will suffer from osteoporosis or wearing off, so the bones will begin to wear off. Together with the denial of the body from getting water, there will be electrolyte imbalances. Electrolyte are things like potassium, magnesium, sodium, you see, and these are necessary for performance of the cells, for the cells to perform their function, including the cells of the heart that require potassium in regulated amounts, of course, for them to continue doing the pumping activity. And therefore, this person who is lacking a nutritional supply, including the electrolytes, will be affected in that manner. Then I wouldn't want to talk about death as a complication, because you need to be alive for us to say that you are. But eventually, if this starvation goes for this long period, then death could result. Yes. So those are some of the complications of anorexia.
Na mtazamaji, tunaongea kuhusu madhara yale mengine ambayo huenda kasababishwa na hiyo hali ya anorexia nervosa, na tumesema kwamba madhara mojawapo ni uharibifu wa viungo vya muhimu kwa mwili, ikiwemo moyo, figo, na pia akili, kwa sababu iwapo mtu hakuli na hapati zile nutrients ama virutubisho vya kutosha, basi hivi viungo vya mwili haviwezi kufanya kazi ipasavyo vile inavyotakani. Kama kwa mfano, kwa moyo kazi yake ni kusukuma damu, na iwapo kama hakuna ile nguvu ya kusukuma damu, basi kunakuwa na shida hapo. Ile pressure itakuwa imeenda chini, na ile mapigo yake itakuwa nayo imefanya nini? Imeenda chini. Na tukiangalia figo nayo pia huwa inasafisha damu, na iwapo kama mtu hakuli, basi inaonyesha pia nayo maji nayo kwake kunywa ni shida. Na kama basi hakunywi maji, basi inamaanisha kwamba figo nayo itakuwa imejazana na uchafu mwingi. Manake pia hapo kunahitajika na maji ili damu iweze kusafishwa. Na pia ukiangalia kiungo kingine kama akili hivi, akili hiyo ndio inaongoza kila kitu ambacho kinaendelea katika mwili. Ni kutembea, ni kutazama, ni kusense vitu kama hizo. Sasa ikiwa kama hukuli, basi ile akili itakuwa imekosa nguvu za kuweza kufanya hayo mambo yote. Kwa hivyo hata kule kufikiria huwezi ukafikiria kabisa. Na pia tumeweza kuongea kuhusu madhara mengine ambayo tumeona, nyingine ni kujitenga, withdrawal. Utakuwa unajitenga, manake sasa ukiangalia mwili utakuwa umeisha kabisa. Watu watakuwa labda wanakutenga, watakuwa
wanakusema, and this could result into depression. And even this depression could lead even to suicide, because you are now feeling worthless, and you don't see the meaning for God continuing to live, because after all you are seeing like people are drawing away from you, yet it could be the other way around. It is you drawing yourself from people. Yes, because of your figure. Therefore you can lose the meaning for living and decide even to commit suicide. So that is the detriment to which Anorexia Nervosa can lead
somebody to do. Kuna hiyo sasa, hiyo kujitenga vile daktari amesema, na mtu akiendelea kujitenga ataona kwamba haja ya maisha hakuna. Kwa hivyo hiyo nayo ako katika hatari kubwa sana ya kukunywa sumu ama kujitia kitanzi. Na tumeona nyingine pia ni mifupa nayo huwa nayo pia inakuwa affected. Kunakuwa na madhara, kwa sababu katika kile chakula ama katika ile lishe kuna madini fulani ambayo yanatakanaga sana kwa kutengeneza mifupa iwe na meno, iwe na nguvu zaidi. Sasa ikiwa kama haupati hivyo virutubisho ama hayo madini, basi ile meno yako ama hiyo mifupa nayo inakuwa haina nguvu, itakuwa katika hali ya unyonge sana. Watu kama hao hata akiteguka kitu hivi kidogo unaweza pata mguu nao umevunjika
na hauponi haraka.
Na pia tumeweza kuona madhara mengine kama nywele inakuwa haina nguvu. Kwa hivyo hata ukishika nywele hivi ukivuruta hivi inang'oka. Mtu anang'oka nywele, anakuwa hana nywele, inakuwa very weak. Hata ikipigwa na upepo inakuwa kama ile manyoya ya paka. Na pia madhara mengine pia ni kwa ngozi pia. Ngozi nayo inanyauka, inakuwa kavu kabisa. Inakuwa kavu, tunasemanga dry skin. Kwa sababu hakuna any nutrients katika mwili za kuweza kufanya ile ngozi yako iwe nyororo, iwe laini. Na pia daktari amesema kuhusu tooth decay, yani inamaanisha kwamba meno itakuwa imeanza kuoza. Kwa sababu gani meno inaoza? Ni kwa sababu tukiwa tunaongea kuhusu ile hali ya mifupa. Mifupa unakuta kwamba kama ile calcium hakuna katika mwili, basi unakuta kwamba ile meno itakuwa haina nguvu. Na pia sababu nyingine ya meno kuharibika ni ile kutapika sana. Unapata mtu anakula, anaona hii chakula hii acha nitapike. So kuingiza mikono hivi kutapika, wajua chakula ikiingia kwa tumbo huwa inachanganyikana na acid. Sasa ile acid kila mara kutoka kwa mdomo inafanya meno inafanya nini? Inaoza. Kwa hivyo haya yote ndio madhara ya ugonjwa wa anorexia.
And again, you can remember we talked about issues to do with menstruation for women.
Exactly.
This is a person who, again, their performance in terms of reproduction is affected. So because their menses are affected, these people cannot maybe even conceive if they wanted to. And even if the menstrual cycle is interrupted, and therefore they have issues to do with their fertility. It affects their fertility.
And also in another perspective, I think daktari, kuna ile sexual drive.
The sexual drive of course will not be there.
Atakuwa hana ule uwezo wa hana ile matamanio ya kujamiana.
Exactly.
Sasa hiyo pia inaletwa na hiyo ugonjwa wa anorexia, because mtu hana nguvu kabisa.
Exactly.
Hana nguvu. Kwa hivyo hiyo yote inasababishwa na hiyo anorexia nervosa.
Yes.
Kuna kitu kingine kuongezea?
No, I think that isn't too much for you can see, viewers, how anorexia can affect you psychologically, and it can affect your whole body, the way you are physically you are affected, and therefore we wouldn't want to get to that point.
Exactly. Daktari, how can we diagnose this condition?
Okay. There is no specific test that one would want to undertake and then they be told that you are suffering from anorexia. There's no specific medical test that one would undertake for them to be diagnosed with anorexia. But it is challenging because again this person is a person who sort of dodges or acts in shame.
Yeah.
They hide themselves. They hide themselves. They deny. They act in denial. They wouldn't want to say that that somebody is telling them that they don't have the required weight, and therefore they deny. They say that I'm feeling fat when they are lean.
They are lean.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is a person who may not actually seek for a medical help, and they wouldn't unless they are maybe forced to or coerced to seek medical help, because they act in secrecy, they act in shame, and they act in denial. So however, once now they have come to the limelight and now they want to be helped, or maybe they have been forced into seeking this medical help, then we shall begin by taking their history. Their history will tell us that maybe they are athletes, maybe they are actresses or actors, maybe they are sportsmen, they are athletes, and that is why they are working on maybe they are models. This history of whatever they do for a living will tell us, that will help us suggest or think in terms of them or wanting not to gain weight. So their history will lead us to that. Maybe we can be told by their friend or relative that these people, they don't eat when they are supposed to eat. These are people who are concerned about gaining weight. So we shall get this history from the people who brought them to us. And therefore, from the history, we can tell that this is a person who could be suffering from this. Maybe they hide. They are showing this abnormal behavior that we talked about when we were talking about the signs and symptoms, that they have abnormal behavior when they want to eat in hidden places. So these are persons that we could suspect from the history. Maybe that the people, we shall be told that immediately they have been forced into eating, they induce vomiting. This history will be helpful in guiding us towards thinking this. After now we've taken the history, we now move to the physical examination. And from the physical examination, of course, weight shall be a factor that we shall take, and we shall compare this weight against their age, and maybe against their height, against their sex, and be able to say that this is too much, way below what is required of them. And therefore, we shall be able to say that this is a people we could suspect that they are having this. We may go to checking their blood blood levels to rule out other diseases that could be causing weight loss. Remember, a condition like tuberculosis, for example, a person suffering from tuberculosis could be losing weight, and therefore we want to rule out this tuberculosis and conclude that indeed their weight loss is based on their starvation. Okay, so we want to do some tests to rule out other causes of weight loss. Okay, after we have done this, we may want to refer them to a psychiatrist or a psychologist. These are the people now who will unearth. They will interview them and maybe carry out this mental status assessment, and they may come up with factors that are suggestive of anorexia nervosa. So there's no test, as I said. However, physical history taking, physical examination, blood test to rule out other causes of weight loss, and also now referring to a psychologist or psychiatrist to unearth other underlying factors that could be contributing to this weight loss. Yeah.
So this is all about diagnosis and testing. Yeah. So is there any treatment for?
Yes, there is treatment, and treatment actually is either psychological treatment, where we talk of psychotherapy. Psychotherapy can be carried out to help this person come out of their way of thinking or thinking pattern, and there could be also an emergency treatment, because if this person is having cardiac issues, cardiac arrhythmias, we need to intervene as immediately as possible. Maybe they're having electrolyte imbalances, then we need to intervene and replenish the electrolytes that are lacking. So there could be an emergency situation where this person needs to be hospitalized and the interventions be made, otherwise they will lose their lives. So again, after we've done this emergency intervention, nutritional counseling sets in, and we need to work together with a nutritionist so that they be counseled on how they can regain their weight and be talked out of this skipping of meals. Again, Another intervention actually is family therapy. We need to talk to their family. We need to talk to the people around this person. So, or group therapy. People of similar behavior.
Exactly.
They can be talked to together, and they encourage one another and come out of it as a team. And family therapy is where the whole family is talked to and encouraged to maybe provide food or stay close to this person because they are having to support this person so that they can come out of this issue of anorexia. Yes.
So that is all about treatment.
About treatment. Yes.
So how can we be able to prevent? Maybe mtazamaji anaweza uliza utawezaje kuzuia hii hali si?
It is hard to prevent anorexia. However, it is important that it be detected early. If it is detected early, intervention can be maybe the psychotherapy that we talked about, then can prevent maybe the detrimental effects after it has been there for a long time. Before the body is adversely affected, they can be talked to through psychotherapy, as we said. However, there's no proper preventive way other than detecting it early and then intervening before the stages progress.
So it is simply preventing the progress.
Preventing the progress. Yes.
Yeah. Kuzuia isiendelee sana. Naam, nafikiri muda wetu umeisha kwa leo. Na tunashukuru sana watazamaji wetu, tunawapenda sana. Asanteni sana kwa kuchukua nafasi yenu ili kutizama kipindi hiki cha Health Booth. Na kabla sijamalizia, pengine daktari uko na neno lolote la mwisho kuambia mtazamaji?
Na kushukuru mtazamaji kwa kuwa pamoja nasi, na tunaendelea kukutia moyo kwamba uendelee kututazama on Heaven Bound TV kila siku kama ya leo na masaa kama ya leo, ili tushauriane kuhusu mambo ambayo yanatuhusu kiafya, na kama kunalo swali tayari umeelezwa namna unaweza kutufikia ili tukapate kujadiliana na kusaidiana afya zetu ziwe njema. Mungu awabariki.
Asante sana. Asante sana daktari kwa kuwa nami wakati huu, na asante sana mtazamaji kwa kutizama. Hadi wiki ijayo, siku kama hii na wakati kama huu, Mungu awabariki sana. Goodbye.
Oh, when the saints go marching in, oh, when the saints go marching in, oh Lord, I want to be among the number. Oh, when the saints go marching in.
Rock of Ages, clap for me.
Hello and welcome. My name is DJ Quench and this is Gospel Delight that comes to you every Sunday morning from 6 a.m. to 1 p.m. here on Heaven Bound TV. Keep tuning in every Sunday morning for worship and praise music, and of course Sunday school. Every Sunday we have a guest artist and our live service that comes to you live from Pefa Church, Kimbo Githurai. And of course, we top it up with this last segment. We have a hype session and also wind up with the topic of the day.
Follow us on our social media platforms at Heaven Bound TV and using the hashtag
God's favor is unmerited. We will be telling you stories about women of favor or daughters of favor who through their stories have touched many lives. I'll be your host, Rebecca Wangoi, and this is Daughters